Hey everyone, actually into today's video we're going to have a look at the weather for the coming month. In today's video, it's JMA Friday, so this will take us to the end of August. Can you believe we'll be going up to the end of summer with this update. Of course, you're going to get summer-like weather later on, going on into September and even into October. Meteorologically, it's a little bit questionable, but it always helps to have a defined period when you're dealing with the statistics. And statistically, summer is the 1st of June to the 31st of August. So next week's update will actually take us into the start of autumn. But anyway, before I get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all pages at gasweather.com, have browser widgets, any articles that you're interested in, please click through. You'll be able to go for read the article. Thanks so much for doing that. Video ads to most page, open up in the content when you watch them, close back up again. Thanks so much for getting involved and doing that. We're starting off with the 500 bit of our height anomalies from the Japanese model, broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will be week that we're currently in, 31st of July through to the 7th of August. As you know, red extrapolates to low pressure and yellow orange extrapolates to high pressure. So for the coming week, we've got a trough of low pressure out to the west. Pretty unsettled looking chart really this, and the jet stream is going rather like that. We have got this ridge out to the east of the country, and that will be forcing things up from the south a little bit. So there could be some warmer weather through the course of next week, despite the fact that the overall pattern is pretty unsettled there. We could bring up some southerly winds at times, and there is just a few hints coming from the short-range models, which if I've got time I'll show you at the very end of the video. Just a few hints that it could get really very warm in around a week's time, and possibly, just possibly, turn thundery as well. So I'll have a look at that in a moment if I have time at the end of the video. Let's go through to the next week period. This one going from the 7th through to the 14th of August. What happens is that the trough sort of sinks down over the country. So this is well, it's still unsettled, but it's a cooler scenario as well, because the jet stream is going rather like that. That ridge to the east is being forced further east, and I think the trough is almost right in over top of the country, so we're losing that potential to shift the air into the south a little bit that we've got through the coming week. So it's still unsettled into the second week of August, but probably cooler as well. Of course, there will be some drier, warmer days mixed in. And then as we go through, excuse me, into the final 2-week period, going from the 14th to the 28th of August, what we find is that it's still unsettled, troughs of low pressure, generally around the country, still hints of a little bit of a ridge out to the east. The flow probably going something like that. So again, there could be a little bit of southerly potential in there, despite the fact that overall it's still an unsettled looking situation. I think we could draw up some warmer air at times from the south. So really, it could be this continuation of the pattern that we've had throughout the summer, really, with occasional bursts of heat, otherwise, and not lasting very long, quick breakdown into thunderstorms, otherwise generally very unsettled and rather cool. It's been a very, very strange summer, this one, and it does look as though that overall strange type pattern could continue through the final month of the summer. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly chart from the mid-latitude view, and this includes temperature and precipitation as well. So first of all, dealing with the 500 millibar height, so we can see that it's an unsettled week coming up. This is the first week from the 31st of July through to the 7th of August. Unsettled week coming up, definitely. And temperature anomalies, it is actually showing a cooler than average anomaly coming up. I think there's a little bit more southerly potential than that's indicated, so I do think it'll be a slightly warmer week than that suggests, particularly down in the south. In the north probably will be another cooler than average week. The rainfall anomaly for this coming week shows it's a bit wetter than average in the north, and a little bit, you probably can't make it out, but a little bit drier than average actually down in the south. So overall, slight improvements for the coming week. The next weekly period, going from the 7th to the 14th, looks like this. Again, the trough of low pressure is in across the country with those blue colours within the 500 millibar flow. The temperature anomaly is still coming out cooler than average. In fact, it's probably a cooler week compared to the first week. and the rainfall anomaly is going above average across the whole of the country as well. So it's turning more unsettled through that second week of the month. Now, it may not be a complete washout. I think there will be drier spells in there, but I think probably a more unsettled and cooler week for the second week of August. Then the final 2 weeks of the month looks like this, still unsettled with a trough within 500 mile flow, very close to the country. The temperature anomaly remains very disappointing, so if this is right, it is going to be a substantially cooler than average month coming up for August to finish off a very disappointing summer, particularly in the north, less so down in the south. And the rainfall anomaly for the final 2 weeks period, again, remember this goes from the 14th to the 28th of August, so right to the end of the month, comes out wetter than average also. So not a great update from the JMA. I think the first week of the month, probably the best of it. Then there's a deterioration in the second week, and that sort of carries us through then into the second half of the month. The CFS V2 looks like this. These again 500 millibar heights, and they're broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period shows that it's unsettled with below pressure out to the northwest. There's a trough within the 500 millibar flow. Again, the orientation is perhaps just allowing some southerly influences to come into the south, particularly. So again, could be a little bit warmer down in the south at times, particularly perhaps later on next week. And that could continue actually going into the next week period. This one going from the 6th through to the 12th of August. Quite a lot of ridging there across central, northern and eastern parts of Europe with the low pressure around Iceland. So again, you'll think the jet stream is probably going rather like that. And that could allow, particularly for the south, some warmer southerly influences to push up. Perhaps, I think it'd be very unstable and very quickly be a risk of thunderstorms developing within that. But yeah, maybe a little bit warmer through the first part of August. The next week period, going from the 13th to the 19th, all goes rather strange. We've got this ridge up over Scandinavia. It looks like the trough is lifting out from the northwest, so that could be settling down actually. And as we go through to the final week, look at this, actually build a ridge in across the country. It's centred to the north, so I don't think it would be particularly hot. That ridge is centred between Iceland and Scandinavia, so the wind flow is probably sort of northeasterly, won't be tremendously warm, but it is mainly dry there, I think, on that one, from the 20th to the 26th of August. Annoyingly, we can't see the temperature and precipitation breakdown this morning with the CFS V2, so I can't necessarily guarantee that it would turn dry if it came up, but I think that is what the model is suggesting. So some significant differences there really between the JMA and the CFS regarding August, and to be honest, it doesn't look too bad a month on the CFS V2. We'll be unsettled at times, but there is the potential some warmer weather, and maybe later on some drier weather to come along as well. Whereas the JMA is a bit of a write-off, really, once you get that first week out of the way. So they normally agree, these two models, and they are disagreeing a little bit this morning. Be interested to see how things pan out for the final month of the summer. As I said, it's been a very strange summer, and it looks like the model disagreements are continuing right to the very end of the month. Right, just have a very quick look at the chance of some warmer weather next week. So here we are on Monday, and I think that will be a little bit of a warmer day in the east of the country. There's the temperatures going up to around 25, 26 degrees in the east. Could be a little bit warmer than that perhaps, but it's very quick being pushed away by cooler air coming back in from the west. Then we have another go at pulling up some warmth later next week. This one could be a little bit more significant. Have a look at the upper air temperature. You can see it's turning very, very hot again across much of Spain, France, going in towards the Low Countries in Germany. Very similar to what we've seen on and off through July, with that heat really pushing out of North Africa into the western parts of Europe. We remain on the periphery of it, as you can see quite clearly. Cool air out to west from the Atlantic Atlantic, but that could give us a glancing blow in the southeast of heat around this time next week. There's the temperature showing that much of France again is going up over 100 Fahrenheit, so it'll be baking hot across much of France. You see that the heat does just about get into the southeast of the country, perhaps going up to 30 degrees, 86 Fahrenheit on Friday. But as I say, I think it could very quickly break down into thunderstorms and be pushed away. That's what the JM is showing. It's very similar for the end of next week, but it develops these areas of low pressure within this unstable air, and there is the potential for some hot air to come up from the southeast briefly at the end of next week, but it's pushed away quite quickly over the weekend of the 8th, 9th of August, and with these areas of low pressure developing, the GEM wants to create some torrential rain and thunderstorms next weekend. It's probably going to be over top with both the heat potential and the thunderstorm potential next weekend, but we need to keep an eye on it because it has been a pattern that has been occurring through this summer, so we do need to keep a check on it. If any heat does push up from the south, I think it will very quickly be swept away again. That's been the pattern of the summer, really. But, yeah, it looks like we could have a warmer week for the first week of August. After that, if we believe the JMA, we get a deterioration to cooler and more unsettled conditions through the second week of the month. CFSO offers the prospect of perhaps not too bad a pattern for August. Well, it's the weekend forecast tomorrow, so come back for that. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.